Well, as you can see, I do have some scrap wood and offcuts lying around on my bench. I've done a bit of a clear up, and tell you what, upcoming Christmas is the perfect time to use this for some Christmas decorations. So over the course of a few videos, we'll be making some really cool things for Christmas, and I'm gonna have plans, cut list and everything else for you. So make sure to save this video and the playlist with my Christmas decorations so you don't miss any of them. Perfect way to produce some gifts for your closest, decorations for your house, and maybe a good business idea. So welcome to my workshop, and you are watching Casual DIY channel. Today let's make some nice, easy and simple Christmas trees. I've got a panel of 2 pine boards glued together. The size of them is 21 centimeters wide and 70 centimeters long. Now, if you do have a board of similar size like this, use that. If not, glue 2 pieces together for a wider, a larger panel. Now I'm just cutting the board in half, so I have 2 panels for different types of Christmas trees. And for most of the cuts, I'm going to be using my miter saw. However, if you don't have a miter saw, you can use a handsaw, jigsaw, or even a handheld circular saw. For the first type of a Christmas tree, we need to change the miter angle to 22.5. After the first cut, you just flip the board over and carry on. And as you can see, we managed to get 2 full-size Christmas trees out of it and 1 a little bit smaller. For the next step, we're going to need a hole saw. Now the size, they usually come in a set like I've got, for example. Now I think I'm going to be using one of the largest ones. And this one is 70 millimeters in diameter. And the smaller one, that's 65 millimeters in diameter. Now play around with the layout, use them as guides to see more or less where the hole's gonna go. It's really up to you how this will look like. And when you select the positions of these, just mark it up so you more or less know where to aim your drill. Now before drilling, I do suggest that you clamp down your workpiece. As you will feel that the drill bit actually gets through to the other side, just switch the position of that triangle so you will have a nice and clean cut. And don't throw these out just yet. We'll make some feet for our Christmas trees from those. And now I'm swapping over to the smaller hole saw. On the second Christmas tree, I'm just cutting 1 hole dead on in the middle of this tree. Again, drilling a bit, flipping it over for that nice and clean cut. And for the last Christmas tree, I'm actually going to be using some fairy lights at the back, okay? The battery powered. So we're going to pre-drill some holes for the small LEDs, and I'm using 3mm drill bit to do just that. Now for them holes to look a little bit neater, I'm just using a very small countersink bit. And now it's time for a bit of sanding. If you don't have an electric sander, you can do it by hand. Break the edges a little bit so they're not too sharp. However, if you do have an electric sander, use this as it will be a lot quicker. Now with these two, we need to have some sort of a mounting option here for our Christmas decors to go inside of those holes. I'm just going to be using a 4mm drill bit to pre-drill some holes, and with a countersink bit, I'm just cleaning up the holes. Okay, now we can think about the basis for our Christmas trees. And as you know, we've got 3 cutouts, okay? So the first option I want to propose is to have a holder for a tea light. Okay, I'm using a real tea light. However, I would recommend the electric versions. Obviously, they're much safer. Now, the tea lights themselves, they're about 40 millimeters in diameter. Okay, the electric versions are more or less the same size. I do have a 40 millimeter force snippet. Okay, and I actually want to create a recess in that foot so the tea light sits a little bit deeper. Now, the safest way to do it is on a pillar drill. If you don't have the kit, don't have the force snippet and the pillar drill, don't worry, you don't have to make this recess. It will look just fine with the tea light sitting on top. Now, to mount these two bases, I'm just going to use the existing holes I've got. I'm just going to use a countersink bit to make sure the head of the screw will be flush with the base itself. Okay, now I want to add a bit of color to our Christmas trees, right? Now the bases, I want them to be darkish black. So I've got a wood stain to sort that out. And then I've got some spray paint, acrylic paint and all that to give a nice look, hopefully a nice look, to the remaining Christmas trees. I'm going to add a small amount of gold paint on the corners, on the edges themselves. And when that fully dries, I'm going to hit the whole tree with this green. And when it all dries up, I'm going to use a bit of sandpaper to get through the green paint to the gold one. I hope it's going to have a really interesting look to it. The next Christmas tree, similar motive. First of all, I'm going to hit it with white. And when it all dries, I'm going to hit it with this grey colour. And the final tree, I'm going to hit it with this dark red. However, in this case, the whole tree will be just red. Now I've got this narrow pine board. It's about 10 centimeters wide. I've selected the middle of it and I'm going to do a cut at 15 degrees both sides, and we're going to have a smallish Christmas tree. Okay, now it's time for some finishing touches on the last little Christmas tree. The best thing, if you had a vise for this step, as we're going to use a chisel and create the branches with our chisel. Okay, we've got one side sorted. Now let's try the other side. And check that out. I think that came out pretty damn good. Really nice. Okay, let's make some sort of a base for this as well. So with this Christmas tree, I have decided it will stay as is in the natural color. I'm just going to add a bit of spray varnish to it. So again, I've cut out a circle like that, and it will be the base for our Christmas tree. So now I'm just going to pre-drill the hole to accommodate the screw. And there we go, our perfect Christmas tree. Now it's time to finish up the remaining Christmas trees, okay? With a sandpaper, I'm just going to scorch the area a little bit to get to the base color of the paint that we did. Not too much, just lightly, and hopefully we'll get a nice, interesting effect. Again, this is totally optional. As you can see on the edges, we are getting to the white paint, a bit of wood, so in theory, that should look pretty cool. And again, the base was just installed with a screw. That's our little Christmas tree. Let's add the decorations to it. And there you go. That's the first Christmas tree fully completed. And in the same way, I'm going to sort out the green one as well. So I've actually swapped the bases. I forgot that the one with the candle holder is supposed to be on the silver one. So I just swapped the bases. That's how the green looks like. I think it came out absolutely fabulous. Love how they look. And in the same way, I've scorched the edges on the red one, put the base, screwed it in, and now it's time to actually install the LED fairy lights into the red one. Okay, now there's a few ways you can do this. You can use hot glue. However, I'm just going to use CA glue, okay, with an activator. I think it's going to be a lot quicker and less messy, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, with all the small LEDs in place, now it's time to mount our battery pack. And again, you can use hot glue. However, I'm just going to use a piece of double-sided tape, as I do have quite a decent one. It's quite strong, and it will do the job absolutely fine for me. And the red Christmas tree is ready. So, cables at the back. Let's switch this on. You can see, obviously they're just tiny little lights. Let me just turn off. And you can see all those different colors, because these fairy lights are RGB, so they are different colors. I hope you can see it on the camera. It is super cute. Really, really nice. And there you go. Really nice and simple project for this Christmas. I really like the red one with the lights. It looks brilliantly. Again, the one with the candle as well, very interesting option, but I do strongly suggest you use an electric version, just in case you don't want to have any fires this Christmas. The green one looks absolutely superb as well, very interesting. And even the super simple, made with a chisel, right? That looks brilliantly. Now, today's video is just a beginning of a series of videos with Christmas decorations and ideas. I made a special playlist with all the videos I'm going to be making, and that playlist, the link to it will be in the pinned comment down below and in the description of the video. So go and have a look, check it out, as there may be a project you've been waiting for or wanted a bit of inspiration and the know-how to do it. I've got plenty more of scrap wood, so plenty more projects to come. However, I also got different types of videos on my channel. I've got some other playlists just over here that may pique your interest. So go and have a look, and maybe I'll see you on my next video there. Take care.